Rosa here from Caroline's Musings on Etsy and One Way Journals Facebook group, bringing you a no-sew book project featuring the Friendship Journal Kit. It has an accordion folded hinge that locks into the pages with a strip of paper cardstock, and I think it's absolutely cool. So I have used elastic to close the book to keep it closed. This is a button I made out of cardstock and eyelets. I will walk you through the end on how to make it. The front cover and back cover are chipboard covered with paper, and the collection in this kit is absolutely gorgeous. I just love it, and the colors are just exquisite. I have just constructed it. I've not decorated it. You decorate it however you wish. The pages itself, I don't think I mentioned in the video that you need 9 pages printed front and back for this project, and I printed them on 28-pound paper. So here is what would be the hinge, and then this is the strip of cardstock that slides in to keep the pages from falling. It's pretty cool, I think. But so yeah, I have not decorated the pages, but look at how beautiful the colors and the images are. Just absolutely stunning. So with that said, let's get busy, my friends. Okay, so we are going to create the hinge that will be serving as our bookbinding. We are going to need a piece of cardstock printed on both sides. Your choice if you want to print dual side. You kind of see it, but you don't. Here, let me show you. So it's up to you. You see a little bit. And then I distressed the back of the hinge. So it's up to you if you want to print on the back side, because I know that's a lot of ink. Anyway, this is 65-pound cardstock, and if I didn't say so, it's 8.5 by 11, and we're going to cut this in half this way. So we will cut at 4 1/4. 4 1/4, 4 1/4 is 8.5, so we're cutting half. You have 2 pieces. You're gonna take one of them and cut it down to 10 inches. Okay, now let's score. You're going to score both pieces. Where's my... You're going to score both pieces at 1 inch intervals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And same thing with your 10-inch piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. Now we're going to accordion fold both pieces. If you scored nicely, then it should be easy to fold. And same thing with your other piece. I'm doing it kind of fast, so you take your time. Okay, so you're going to have a piece that will have both wings face up, and you have one piece where one wing is face down and the other wing is face up. What you want to do is glue the up wing and the down wing together. That way your end wings are facing up. You must have them face up. All right, so let's glue our wings together. Like so. You do not want to go past your score mark. And this is your accordion hinge for your bookbinding. Remember, these face up. All right, so now let's cut the locking mechanism. They're going to be strips that once you put your pages in here, your locks will slide in here, and that will prevent your pages from coming out. So what we're going to do, again, I printed this on 65-pound cardstock, and I printed both sides because you'll be able to see both sides. And we will trim this at 6 inches. We're going to rotate and cut strips just shy of 1 inch. You're going to need 9 strips. Since you have 9 pages. I lost count. 3, 6, 7, and oops, 8. And from the remaining piece you had, measure out 6 inches and cut out your last strip. Okay, so we have our 9 locks and our accordion hinge for our binding. Okay, so at this stage you should have 9 printed double pages and double-sided. As for the pages, we're going to create a slit. So you have your pages folded so you know where your center crease is. From the top, you're going to measure 2 1/8 inch down and make a little tick mark. From the bottom, you're going to measure up 2 inches, make a tick mark. Between those 2 tick marks, you're going to create a slit right in the fold. Okay, and that's going to enable us to insert the hinge. Okay. Okay, so my page has, I made heavy marking so you can see, hopefully you can see. So here's my so-called tick mark and my tick mark. And I'll tell you what, so you can see my center line. And you could do this too to help you find your center line. Just highlight it there, distress it so you can see the line. Okay, so I have my X-Acto knife and the metal side of my ruler, and I'm going to place it next to that distress line, and I'm going to cut from one tick to the other. Okay, and that's what you'll have. And that's what you will do with all your pages. All right, you guys, I have distressed all my pieces. These are the 9 locks, and I have glued our accordion hinge together. Right here is where I glued it. And remember that we have to have our end flaps facing up. And I've also distressed our 9 pages. So in trying to dry fit the hinge into the page and put the lock, I have discovered that we need just a little bit more wiggle room than just the slit. And I'll show you what I mean. So the hinge will go into the slit like so. Okay, and then you push the page all the way to the base of the hinge, and then we slide a locking strip into the opening of the hinge. And if you're, oh, I got lucky that time. If you're not careful, sometimes and you're pushing, the hinge might, or the loxy may slide underneath. So you gotta keep your page down at the base of the hinge so that you can accommodate the lock in place. And so here's what I'm talking about. When I go to close the page, it's got just a smidgen extra paper, and it'll work, but you know, it's not closing like I want it to. So that said, we are going to remedy that problem. So what we're gonna do is take our page. Here's the hole. We're going to cut the slit just a smidgen larger. So you can either use an X-Acto knife or scissors. I'm gonna draw a line so I can keep straight. Pencil. Okay, so here's my tick mark, and my first tick mark, my second tick mark. Remember when we were measuring from here to here and from here to here. So what you're gonna do is just, I mean, like a 1/16 of an inch. Because remember, when you cut from this side a 1/16 of an inch, you're also cutting from the back side. So it's gonna create a bigger hole than a 1/16 of an inch. I hope that makes sense. So if I were to draw, you know, a 1/16 of an inch here, then you'll see that your opening will be wider. Okay, so I drew a line, and I'm going to snip into the tick mark that I drew. I mean, ever so slightly. And you can either use scissors, but I don't trust myself. So I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. And you're gonna slice from one tick down to the other. And as you can see, it is just a sliver. Okay, and what that does is it gives us more room for the hinge to fit. So let's try it out again. Okay, so slide the hinge into the slot. It already slides in perfect. And slide in our locking mechanism. This is what locks the hinge in place. and you can already see that you've got more room and your paper closes properly and will fold this way and that way properly without any issues. And if you're afraid that your locking mechanism is going to slide out, you can always just put a, dab of glue under here so that it stays in place. Okay, so moving on, we will cut a larger slit on all these remaining pages and insert the hinge into each of the pages and your locking mechanism, and I'll meet you back. Okay, some tidbits. If you need to adjust, because I cut the slit a little long, I passed my tick mark. So if your page is let's say, wonky like that, just go to that page, open it, and slide it to match the rest of your pages. And then remember that I said that you could just put glue in here. So I've discovered, this is the first time I'm making this, so I've discovered you can go back here and here's your locking mechanism. Just add glue in between the hinge where your locking tab is. Okay, that would probably be easier and you don't risk tearing this, and trying to lift it. Okay, so 2 tidbits for you that I've learned. Okay, so now for the cover of our book, I am going to make it the back and front exactly what our pages measure. So this should be 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, let's see, I'm going to cut chipboard, and this is an 11.5 by 11, 8.5 by 11. So I am going to cut this in half. Five and a half, 5.5, and 1 in the middle for good measure. So for those of you that don't have a heavy duty cutter, I do, but I don't want to drag it over here. You can use your X-Acto knife. You just have to be careful and do multiple passes. And it's important that you have a ruler that has a metal guide to it, because if you use the plastic side, you may accidentally dig into your acrylic and ruin your ruler. Ask me how I know. And I am not sponsored by this, but I want to let you guys know that this Tim Holtz ruler, the Ideology ruler, is no longer available. The new one that's come out is this one. It's a 12 by 2 media ruler, and it's kind of cool because it has these this long grip strip, and it will hold on to your project. Ooh, you see how strong that is? And then on the opposite side, the way that they put these strips in place create these little dots on the other side, so there's also a little bit of grip on the other side. It doesn't have the same look. It's a little different. It's wider because I believe this one's 1.5 and this one is 2 inches. So don't get rid of this one. This one's, you know, a great ruler. I love that ruler. And this one also has a metal strip, but because it grips my project, I think I want to use this one because cutting with an X-Acto knife is dangerous. So here we go. You may need to do 3-4 passes so that it will go through your chipboard. Just take your time. No need to rush. Be patient. One more I think will do. And there you go. Awesome ruler. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, see, it'll be, this will go inside like that, and then we'll cover the inside, but this is what we'll have. Okay, so let me get the pages to cover the covers with and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to now cover our covers, the front and the back. As I mentioned, we were using 2 5.5 by 8.5 chipboard, pieces of chipboard. I've already covered one. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper. If they are directional, make sure that you can use them portrait, not landscape, because we're going to cover like that. And this is 8.5 by 11. And you're also going to need 2 pieces of 5.25 wide by 8.25 high. This is going to be the inside cover and the inside back cover. I set those aside. So for our cover, this one doesn't matter if, you know, if it's this way or that way. I am going to glue this on the center of my page. I'm using Scotch permanent glue stick. You can use Fabric Fix. You can use art glitter glue. I'm going to use this for now. If you are a glue stick fanatic, this glue stick is pretty good in comparison to other glue sticks. I really like it. Okay, so we're going to center our piece on the page. I tend to use a brayer so I can smooth out any bubbles. Okay. Now, we're going to draw, where did my ruler go? We're going to draw a 1-inch margin around our chipboard, and this ruler happens to measure 1 inch. If you're accustomed to using 3/4 inches, by all means. I'm used to doing 1 inch. Okay, and then we need to create a miter, and I have a nifty little gadget that will catch on the corner of my chipboard, and I can draw the lines. If you don't have a nifty gadget, this ruler happens to be 1/8 of an inch wide, so you can just put it at a 45-degree angle against your the corner of your chipboard, and draw, and you get the same effect. Okay, there you go. Let me see. See? Same effect, just not so straight. There you go. Okay, so, and now we're gonna cut around our drawn lines, and I'm gonna speed up the process. Okay, so now we are going to massage our sides to make it easier to glue. For whatever reason, I always tend to do the top and bottom first. And I'll get myself a piece of paper, and we're going to glue the one side. Add a little bit of glue to the corner. And fold over. Okay, and grab your bone folder, smooth it out, and pinch your corners. I don't know if you can see, just pinch your corners, and they'll be hidden when we fold this side in. Okay, so let's glue the other side. Massage over, burnish, pinch your sides, and let's do the long sides. All right, so massage your margins, your edges. You know what I mean. Sometimes I lose my words. Okay. Do it this way. And apply glue. Make sure you get your edges real well. And fold over. And burnish. And our last side. I know I'm wasting paper. It's copy paper, it's okay. Once it dries, I reuse it for gluing, but while it's tacky, it's not fun. And our last side. And fold over. And burnish. Glue, and don't forget to cover your glue. And there we go. Let's distress it because I will forget later. You don't have to if you don't want to. I like the antique look. Okay, so both of our covers are now done. And oh, one more thing. I am going to put a topper on the book. And what I did was cut 110-pound cardstock, 5 inches wide by 8 inches high. And you could wrap it if you want to, but the margin is so small. I did a test run and you can do it. But what I'm gonna do is cut. So this is 2 pieces of 110-pound cardstock glued together and cut it 5 inches wide by 8 inches high. And then this page is the half of a full 8.5 by 11, and I cut it at 5.5 by 8.5, so it still maintains the height. And then I cut the page in half. So what I'm gonna do is cut it. You could either use your scissors. Oh, let me use my grippy ruler. I got so much stuff on my desk. Okay, the metal side. So I am going to trim it so that it's flush with the cardstock. I think I cut a little bit of it off. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to speed through the process. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to distress this as well. And by topper, this is what I mean. I am going to glue this on top, right here, like that. So that'll be the front of the book. Okay, so let's do our pages and covers. So what we're gonna do is glue the hinge to the back and do the front hinge to the front cover, like that. Okay, and I've not done this part before, so wish me luck. This time I'm going to use fabric tack or fabric fix so that if I need to move it around, I can. With the glue stick and the art glitter glue, there's no grace. So because I've not done this, I figured this will be better. Okay, gonna match the edges. Hopefully I'm there. And if you have a directional image or anything of the sort. You know, keep that in mind. Okay, I think that's good. And then the other side, you were oozing. Okie doke, here we go. I think we're lined. Okay, so it's moving, so just leave it dry. All right, so my book is dry. I've taken the liberty of gluing the topper on already, and I glued the inside cover, or the inside lining. So I'm going to glue the back lining with you. So here's the back lining. And when you center it, you just have a smidget, about 1/8 of an inch margin around. So let's glue it. My trusty glue stick. Again, if you guys want to use Fabric Fix, Fabric Tack, Art Glitter Glue, you know, that's your choice. I have no idea if this is gonna break apart after a while. If it does, I'll put something in the comments, but it should be all right. Okay. Let's align it. And be careful because you can tear your hinges. So lift this up and then press so that it's flat on your surface, on your work surface. Use your bone folder to burnish it in place. Get those corners well. And oh, close your glue stick. All right, so for the closure, I'm not sure if I want to do a topper for the back too, but I'll decide later. For the closure, I am going to do an elastic closure. I've not done this before either, so hopefully it'll work out. I have taken 6 1 1/4 inch circles out of punched them out of 110-pound cardstock and glued them in a stack all together. And then from my remnants of paper, I cut a 1 1/4 inch circle and glued it on top of the stack. So this is the back and this is the front. I've already put the eyelets in, and you see the thickness. It's about 1/8 of an inch, pretty sturdy. So this is going to be my button per se. And so I am going to take this elastic And I am going to thread it through there. So I'm not sure if to tie a bow to give it room to grow, or if I tie it like this. Well, it's still, I think it's still enough room. So anyway, let's just tie it like that for now. So I'm going to tie a knot, right over left, left over right, and pull snug. If you think you're gonna need more room, I mean, this is kind of pretty loose, so it should allow me room to grow. Oh shoot, see, I just ripped it. So don't do what I did. But yeah, this will give you enough room. So I'm gonna snip, leaving a bit of a tail in case I need to expand it later on. And I am going to burn the end so it doesn't fray. And there you go. It's adorable. I love it. Isn't that cute? Yeah. So you can move it wherever you want. You could even do it this way if you want. Just make sure you give yourself more room. More elastic, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's cute. Love it, love it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And if you try one, let us know. Post it on One Way Journals on Facebook. God bless. Bye-bye.